The Boston Syrup Tsunami. Adapted from The Great Molasses Flood, a wave of syrup kills a city block. Picture this. It's the winter of 1919 in Boston's bustling North End. Street vendors call out to passers-by. The aroma of freshly baked bread wafts through the chilly air, and horse-drawn carts rumble along the cobblestones. The scene is idyllic, and yet, unbeknownst to the residents, a towering menace looms nearby. Among this industrious milieu stands a gigantic structure, a steel tank 50 feet high and 90 feet wide, housing over 2 million gallons of molasses. But to the people of Boston, this tank isn't a monster. It represents prosperity, a sugary ingredient crucial for the burgeoning confectionery industry and the war effort's rumoured alcohol distillation. Yet, there's an unspoken tension. On colder days, the tank groans, its steel panels creaking ominously under the sweet pressure it contains. Workers exchange nervous glances, their whispers barely audible over the city's din. When they report the strange noises, they are told not to worry. After all, what harm could a little molasses do? Little did they know, the spectacle of an event waiting to happen was warming up under their very noses. A sense of normalcy envelops the city on this particular morning. Children play stickball in the streets, office workers head for lunch, and shop owners prepare for the day's business. The air is crisp, and life rolls on, blissfully ignorant of the catastrophe about to be unleashed, a syrupy tsunami. This was a time before urban disaster preparedness, before the true weight, both figuratively and literally, of this tank's impending doom seeped into the minds of Bostonians. This was the calm before the storm, serene, unassuming, yet pregnant with potential chaos. In the heart of Boston's industrial center, an almost imperceptible change brews beneath the molasses tank's riveted armor. Inside, millions of gallons of the thick, viscous syrup stir quietly. Each degree the temperature climbs, the contents bubble with potential energy. The molasses had been shipped to the United States from the Caribbean, delivered during late autumn. It was poured into the tantamount of a giant steel beast. This particular morning, a deceptive warmth blankets the city, a precursor to the unseasonal thaw. Boston citizens, clad in their woolen coats, note the pleasant warmth, but dismiss it as a fluke spring visit. Inside the tank, however, the molasses begins to ferment. Gases push against the tank walls with insidious pressure. The gas expansion needed room, and it demanded it fiercely, straining against its constraints. No warnings were heeded. Despite previous reports of syrup-leaking seams and often neglected maintenance, business continued. After all, profit knows little patience for structural caution. Unbeknownst to the crowd of unknowing witnesses, the tank reverberates internally. Edging toward an inevitable climax, this towering vat of ominous silence teases outward, a behemoth sugar bomb primed to explode. All it needs is that fracture point. This is the unseen movement, the tightening of fate's coils, which would soon lurch into dreadful action. A prankster of circumstance setting the stage for one of America's most bizarre tragedies. And then it happens. At just about lunchtime on January 15th, 1919, the tank's steel walls give way with a thunderous roar. the distinct sound of snapping like 1,000 gunshots tears through the air. Panic envelops the streets as screams echo amidst the cacophony. A deluge erupts, an unfathomable tidal wave of molasses, cascading at an estimated 35 miles per hour. Picture it, a dark amber wave, thick as honey, rushing with unstoppable force. Buildings crumble, horses are swept away, and people struggle, limbs flailing in the suffocating, sticky depths. The roar is deafening. It is as if the world itself is crying out as history marks a catastrophic event unfolding in sweet chaos. The molasses crashes into the surrounding streets like a slow-motion avalanche, flooding the unsuspecting heart of the North End, engulfing everything in its path. A consternated disaster of the slow-motion wreck unfolds, with bystanders scrambling to higher ground, desperately seeking refuge from the monstrous cascade. Those caught in its syrupy clutch are laden with pounds of relentless sugar, the sweetness masking the horror meted upon the populace. In the disaster's wake, Bostonians find themselves grappling for breath in the cloying, suffocating mess. Survivors, bewildered, desperately call out for loved ones, while surrounded by a scene ripe for artistic interpretation, reminiscent of mythic deluges in oil-painted nightmares. In the aftermath of the molasses flood, disbelief hangs thick in the air, alongside the cloying scent of syrup. The streets of Boston's North End are virtually unrecognizable. Twisted remains of shattered structures poke through pools of molasses, resembling a macabre confectionery landscape. Rescue efforts quickly marshal, but moving is a harrowing effort. Boots stick resolutely to the ground, requiring every ounce of strength to take each step forward. Horses, unable to stay above the tide, succumb to its clutches, while rescuers, braving waist-deep molasses, drag bodies from the mire. Debris floats aimlessly in the thickened streets. Clothes, papers, toys, and remnants of livelihoods drift amidst the madness. It's a scene straight out of a painter's fever dream, a vision of civilization drowning in its own excess. Survivors are cloaked in treacle, struggling to breathe, every breath a sweetened gasp. Families mourn in the aftermath, searching for hope and solace amidst a viscous wasteland. Bodies are counted, many lost to the molasses' sticky grasp. As the devastation settles, stories of heroism and tragedy punctuate the community's grief. The cold grip of shock blankets the faces of Bostonians as they attempt to reconcile their reality. Their neighborhood, once thriving, lays beneath a river of ruin. An event so extraordinary, it will be etched in history and art as a poignant reminder of humility and hubris. In the weeks and months that follow, Boston cleanses its streets of the molasses' sticky residue. Legal battles unfold as victims seek recompense for the bizarre calamity that wrought havoc on their lives. The aftermath of the flood ignites discussions over corporate responsibility and the imperative for stringent construction regulations. Lawsuits abound, with the owners of the molasses tank fighting to absolve themselves of blame. An era draws closer scrutiny, with mechanical safety becoming a national conversation. The trial that ensues sees testimonies from experts, residents, and daring rescuers, painting a poignant scene of preventable tragedy. The memory of that fateful day underscores the fragility of human enterprise, a reminder of nature's malleability meeting an immovable corporate self-interest. This intersection is crystallized in art and story, through canvases portraying harrowing, sugar-laden devastation. Decades later, the Great Molasses Flood serves as an enduring emblem of hubris curbed and engineering reshaped by human responsibility. It propels a legacy of accountability, reinforcing a commitment to safeguard against negligence as civilization expands. While Boston stands renewed, the historical imprint of Molasses' untamed surge remains. The Great Molasses Flood is etched in time as a monument to the unexpected, ensuring that future generations would not forget the day sweet met savagery.